Hello and welcome to Absolute Trust Chalk. I'm Kirsten Howe, the managing attorney here at Absolute Trust Counsel, and I'm here with one of my associate attorneys, Jessica Colbert. Today, we are going to talk a little bit about the fires that are happening in Los Angeles. As we are talking here right now today, those fires are still burning out of control after almost a week. Over 12,000, that number is probably wrong because I wrote that yesterday, structures have been burned, and that means a lot of people who have nothing, no clothes, no furniture, no home. Most of our listeners and viewers are probably in Northern California because that's where we are. And for whatever reason, this fire season, we have not been directly affected here, but we are very familiar with how awful that is. And most people up here probably have friends, family members that live in the Los Angeles area. So we're worried and we're watching. Many of us have lived through evacuations and losses going back, at least for me, to the Oakland Hills fire. That was my first experience with this kind of a fire. And we all want to help our fellow Californians. It's just human nature that we want to help. However, it's very important to help out in the right way. And that is what we're going to talk about today. We want to make sure that you know how to give your help to the right people and how to give the right kind of help. Jessica, what do you want to start with?
I want to start by saying that when we're talking about giving to the right people, what we're talking about here is not getting scammed. So like you said, in events like this, we all want to help our fellow Californians. We all want to be generous. And unfortunately, these sorts of events, while they bring out the best in that we're all trying to help, it also brings out the worst, people trying to take advantage of that generosity and try to take advantage of all the help that we're trying to offer.
Yeah, and we feel a particular closeness to that issue because so many of our clients are elderly, they're seniors, and that population tends to be vulnerable to scammers. And I've done lots of education. I used to give on a pretty regular basis at various senior centers presentations about avoiding scams and the particular ones that are most likely to be perpetrated against the elderly and the vulnerable. So this is a subject that is very important and near to our hearts at Absolute Trust Counsel. Today, we're talking about everybody. This not just seniors get taken advantage of. It's just so easy for someone with bad intent to create an opportunity for themselves.
Yes. So we have some tips about how to avoid falling into that trap. And our first tip is to not give money or donate to someone who calls you or emails you, even if you think that you know that person. And we've all heard some variety of the scam where, someone gets a phone call from someone that they believe is their grandson, for example, saying, "Grandma, I need $1,000 for this." And it sounds like that person. It can even come from the phone number of that person. And we know now that email addresses, phone numbers, voices can all be altered and faked. And so it's best to not give to someone who contacts you over phone or email.
Yeah, and I would say also by text, because people will send fraudulent texts, and we've all gotten them.
So many.
We've gotten texts that say, "Hey, your whatever, your warranty on this or that is about to expire. Click here." Or there's that fast track text.
Yes.
You need to pay money into your fast track account right now. Click here. So anything where someone's reaching out to you, you need to be really wary of. And it's okay to say, "Hey, that sounds really great, but I can't do it right now. Give me the information and I will get back to you." And ask the questions. Ask what is the name of the organization, the address, the phone number, the web address. Get as much information as you can, but don't just say, "Oh yeah, here's my credit card number."
Another point on that is when you're getting that information, make sure you are getting the exact information, like the name of the charity that is allegedly contacting you. A really common scam is creating an organization that has a name that sounds incredibly similar to a very well-known charity, and just hoping that it sounds close enough that you fall for it.
Yeah, that is a really good point. That is a really good point. Another tip number 2 in this category: give only to legitimate organizations. And by that, I mean organizations that you have verified are actually legitimate organizations. And this is very easy to do. And, so you've gotten the name of this charity. You can verify an organization by looking them up on one of the websites that keep track of charities. And there are a few, very well-known. They are legitimate charity tracking websites. The Better Business Bureau has one. It's called Wise Giving Alliance. And their web address is very simple, give.org. There's another one called Charity Navigator, very well known. Their web address, again, charitynavigator.org. And these are actually recommended by the Federal Trade Commission. If you go on the Federal Trade Commission's website and read about scams, they point you to these 2 websites for verifying the legitimacy of an organization. And each of those that I just mentioned, Charity Navigator and Wise Giving Alliance, they have a special spot on their website just for these Southern California fires. So it's very easy to go in and check on the charity that claims to be legitimate and claims to be well-intentioned and claims to want to serve these victims of the Los Angeles fires. So, very easy to double check.
Now, some donations that can be very hard to verify, and they really pull at your heartstrings. And so I understand that we all want to donate to crowdsourcing donations such as the GoFundMes. And, you read stories and they really pull at your heartstrings, and it's so easy to want to give to them. And they're often for really great causes, but they're really easy to fake and it's hard to verify them. Even if you see a GoFundMe out there for someone that you think that it's best to call them, ask if it's actually for them or for their family member to confirm. But we've all seen the news articles where it's all this money was raised for this great cause, and then the person that it was raised for didn't even end up getting it because it was all a scam. So it's good to be cautious of the GoFundMes.
Yeah, those are a little harder to check. Although I have read that GoFundMe has, in light of this current situation, set up its own verification process. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know enough about it. I don't go on GoFundMe. I don't know anything about it. I just read what I read in the paper. But so you might be able to satisfy yourself through GoFundMe's own processes that the GoFundMe campaign you're actually looking at is okay. But I think, Jessica, your advice is really good, that if you see somebody who's got a GoFundMe up there and you think them and you think you want to give to them, just give them a call, offline. Just call them and say, hey, I saw GoFundMe. Is that you? Is that really you? Because, with the internet, everything is so easy. It's so easy to fake things. I'm just going to say also, if you do come across something that you think is a scam, you need to report it. You can call the police. That's a crime. So you can call the police. And even if you don't get scammed, you see it and you go, nope, not doing it. Still do something, because you want to make sure that gets shut down. Not everybody's going to be as smart. Not everybody's going to resist it. And you also can file a report with the Federal Trade Commission at reportfraud.ftc.gov. And that's helpful too, because if they're using phones or internet, that's a federal crime. And you want the federal government involved as well. And they have the power to shut things down pretty quickly.
All right. That's great advice. We all got to work together to make sure that these rampant scams come to a stop. Now, the second thing that we wanted to discuss in this episode is talk about what to give. So once you've found an organization, a legitimate organization that you want to give to, go to their website. They most likely have a list of what items they're looking for, and it's best to stick to that list. I keep reading articles about people donating their old clothes that may not be in the best condition, and the organizations just have too many clothes at this point, and so that's not what they want anymore. So it's best to check what they want, and then don't drop off or donate those items until you confirm that it is what they want, because it could end up being more of a burden. Rambling.
Okay. Yeah, that very important to give what the charity needs and can make use of. And I'm just going to say every organization can use money. If you're able to give money, not everybody's able to give money, but if you can, that's always the best thing, because they can use the money exactly how they are best able to help people.
And if it's important to you that your donation is tax deductible, then you need to double check that the organization is a 501c3 organization, a registered tax exempt organization. And if there's an organization that is not a 501c3 organization, they may still do great work, and you may still want to donate your gift. But if it's important to you that it is tax deductible, double check that information.
Yeah, and a GoFundMe campaign is not going to be that. That's just people giving to people, not people giving to charities. So just keep that in mind. If tax deductions are important, point your dollars in a different way. The last thing I wanted to say, which is not about scams, it's not about giving, it's more about preparedness. And this is something that I've been thinking probably too much about from a personal angle, because how I deal with some kind of stress and anxiety like this is I plan. I just, that's my nature. And if I can come up with a plan, a strategy, then I can relax. So I think about what if I had to evacuate? Regular viewers know that I have a cat. I, in fact, have 3 cats. You may not know that. And so what I have been worrying about is if I have to evacuate, I got to get these 3 cats into cat carriers and into the car. And that part I can manage. That's okay. But we've all seen these videos of the long string of cars jammed on the roads, on the freeways, and then the fire comes through. Everybody has to get out of their car and go. What am I going to do with 3 cats in cat carriers? That's not going to happen. So if you have animals, make sure they're chipped, make sure they have a collar on them that's at least got your phone number on it. Because if you ever get separated from them, like in my nightmare, they have a shot and they might make it back to you. So that's my little my little anxiety dream that I just shared with you.
I've been watching the reunification videos of someone who's found their dog who's been missing for the last week, and those feel good. Those feel really good. So make sure you can have that reunification.
Or if you just want a little pick me up, go watch one of those videos. That's great advice. That is great advice. Okay, so we're ending this serious episode on a lighter note, but just be careful. Don't get scammed. Pay attention. Do your homework. And be generous if you can. Thank you all for joining us. We really enjoyed this episode and talking to you. We hope it's helpful to you, and we look forward to connecting with you next time.
Thank you for joining us today for another episode of Absolute Trust Talk Live. If you enjoyed listening in, then don't forget to subscribe. You can find us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you may listen by searching Absolute Trust Talk. While you're there, we would also love for you to leave us a review. And then why not share your favorite episodes with family, friends, or colleagues too? You can find all of our shows and corresponding show notes by visiting absolutetrustcouncil.com. You'll also find a variety of other free resources, including our ebooks, videos, blogs, presentations, and more. If you need help with your estate planning or administration, we also offer a free discovery call to help get the process started. You can find more information on booking your session by visiting absolutetrustcouncil.com/scheduling. Don't forget to keep an eye out for our next live episode. If you join us for the broadcast, you can submit questions during the show. But if not, don't worry. You can always get in touch with us by sending a quick message to info@absolutetrustcouncil.com. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you soon.